Hello and welcome to all of you astrology friends. Welcome to another video. And this video is just about the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that is about to happen round and about the 20th, 21st of April. And it's at 21 degrees of Taurus. So Jupiter and Uranus, they're going to come together. That happens every like 12, 13, 14 years. That Jupiter, because it's a bit faster, it kind of passes Uranus, so to speak. It seems like that. It's happening. It's really happening as well. So what does it mean? In general, what is that flavor? And in particular for the signs. You know, astrology is very personal. It's very, for some people, it's amazing, the same aspect that is happening. For another person, it's a disaster because there's a lot of things happening in that person's life. Why is that? Because of your personal chart. So this conjunction at 20 degrees of Taurus, of course, this is going to be easier for a Virgo, because it's air, earth and earth, so which means a trine energy, which means fluent, than for instance for a Leo who've got planets around 20 degrees. That's what we call in astrology a square. And even though this Jupiter-Uranus may be fantastic, it's going to be perceived as more of a challenge because it's tension. I get back to that in a minute. But what does this Jupiter-Uranus wants from us? You know, these planets aren't doing anything. It's a reflection from so within, so without. It's a reflection of what? It's first of all the aspect of the year, because these two planets that are coming together. But it's also the whole month of April that you're feeling this. It's not just the 20th of April that you're feeling this. You know, now it's approaching. But bang on the 20th. Is the exact conjunction, so to speak. Now, let me explain in general, what is this all about? These ingredients of Jupiter and Uranus, well, it's two ingredients that when you put them together is very exciting, to say the least. It's about change. And why is that? Because Jupiter is a planet of first and foremost of purpose. Finding your purpose, finding your soul's purpose, that's very Jupiter. And Jupiter, yes, what it touches, it makes it bigger. It wants to expand. It wants to grow. That's why people, when they go to college or university, are going to teach or learn something at a bigger scale. They have big Jupiter transits going on. It's also the planet of, you could say, perspective in a bigger way. And that's why it's so much associated with purpose. It's the ruler of Sagittarius and the ancient ruler of Pisces. For them in particular, they're gonna feel this very strongly. I'll talk about that in a minute too when I get to the signs. So growth for sure. And when it touches Uranus, this is a planet that wants innovation, that wants change, big change and quick change, so to speak. And it's also a planet of insights and of seeing things in a flash. And it's about independence. It's about, I break myself free, you know. I think a lot about the song I Want to Break Free. It's very Jupiter-Uranus-like. And then we have to knit together another element, which is the element it is in, which is Earth, and it's in Taurus. And Taurus is the most grounded sign of the zodiac. So this growth that we're all going to experience at some level, growth and innovative energy, opportunity for change, for sure, big change, quick change as well. This is all very real because it's in Taurus. And of course, Taurus represents, the five senses, right? It's what we eat, it's what we feel, it's what we sense. And it's also represented by beauty, by money, by finances, so there's going to be some breakthroughs for a lot of people there. And of course, it's also ruled, the sign of Taurus is ruled by Venus. So all the Venusian kind of aspects like love, beauty, the things that we love, the things that we the validation, the confidence, our own validation, you could say, the self-confidence that comes from the selves and not from others. All these are themes that are going to be brought up in general, of course. So in general, yes, this is quite a unique, purposeful, liberating energy, for sure, for sure. But it is ruled by Venus, and Venus is in Aries with Chiron. It's going to bump into Chiron, the day after or a couple of days after the 20th of April. Venus is going to bump into Chiron. That's challenging because it shows that Venus in Aries is about, I love my space. I love my existence. I want to do what I want to do. I want to be an individual. And with Chiron there, Chiron works a bit like Saturn, right? It's like Venus, Saturn, but a bit worse. So not worse. I mean, if you've got this in your natal chart, there's positive things about that, like with everything, because every energy is neutral, but we're going to see it negative or positive. But anyway, this Venus Chiron is about going through a pain and then healing from that. What kind of pain? Pain of existence, pain of love, pain of, hey, I take in this space and I'm worth it. That kind of existential pain almost, you could say. So it's a bit more than just this Jupiter-Uranus coming together. It's a very interesting one, and something that most astrologers, I think, are looking forward to, because it's the biggest event of the bigger planets that are coming together. It's a cycle like that happens at every 12 years, 13, 14 years. So it's quite rare. And it's definitely for but now, what now? For all the other signs, how they are going to perceive this energy. It's normal, again, that some people will absolutely see this as, oh, this is a blessing, right? And of course, it seems like that. So like, for instance, the Virgos and the Capricorns, they are fellow earth signs. They are going to have a trine of this energy, which is amazing. So they're going to deal with this way easier, They're going to see it a bit more as a windfall. Now, other signs, like, for instance, let's say Leo and Aquarius, and especially if you've got planets around 20 degrees there, they're going to sense this as a square. So yes, it's always with the same goal: innovation, growth, and independence, purpose, yes, but with a challenge, right? So let's say two people have this Jupiter-Uranus, let's say, for instance, in their 10th house of career. Two people. One is a Virgo, the other is a Leo. How are they going to, and they are offered a new job. The 10th house, Jupiter-Uranus there, new job. The Virgo is probably going to say, yeah, it's going to find it easy peasy to be open for this change and to say, oh yeah, thank you, it's a blessing. I love it. It's a teaching or whatnot. It's something that has to do with teaching, and I love to do this, and I'm going to go for it. And it's going to be super, super purposeful, expansive. I'm going to feel more free because this job that I'm doing now, and blah, blah, blah. Now, the Leo will also, of course, it depends on your consciousness. The Leo can see, oh, a new job. I'm offered a new job. Okay, it's Jupiter-Uranus like. So it might be very innovative and blah, blah, blah. But it's going to see it as a challenge because it squares to their energy. So that means that they will have to do effort to go through this change. And of course, that person will grow more than, you could say, the Virgo person. But the Virgo person is because karmically already did those things of growth and that path. And it seems like it's coming out of nowhere. But that's, of course, not the case, because they worked before. And it's some sort of a natural thing that comes to them. So with, like, for instance, the Leo, they could resist it. Like, oh yeah, I'm a bit scared of the unknown, which what Uranus is all about. It's being scared of the unknown when you're having it in a square or an opposition. It's being an or conjunction. So they sense it like, oh, it's the unknown. So I have to go through it, and I have to really trust and feel safe, because that's what Uranus is all about. You need safety to do Uranus stuff. You need safety to do new stuff. That a feeling of safety that you have to create within. Otherwise, you're not gonna explore, right? So, but that Leo can do it anyways, and will do it probably, you know, when it sees that this is a very positive thing for the longer term, but will have just a little bit more effort and feeling a little bit more unsettled, right? So it's not everyone who's just saying, oh, Jupiter, Uranus, well, wow, fantastic. No. There's going to be some people, and even there's going to be some people who say, thank you very much. Let it pass. Let it pass. Because these are energies. It's not that these planets are making us doing something. It's an energy. And we can say, no, thank you. And then probably it's going to be put towards you again in another time and another place and whatnot. And because I think karmically we need to learn what we need to learn anyways. So, yes, very innovative energy, but also very healing energy here during the month of April, especially with Venus touching Chiron. So we are invited for change, for sure. For sure. Where is it? At what area of your life that you are invited to change? And the thing is with Uranus, it's like if you're resisting Uranus, it becomes tougher. The tension becomes bigger. And Uranus is like, I'm bored. You know, Uranus and Jupiter together, it's like, this is a breakthrough. And this is actually something that you might have wanted for a long, long time. And now it's there. And it's a breakthrough. And it's exciting. So there's a difference between exciting and anxiety. But it's the same, you know, I think in the medicine field, they say it's a bit the same area, or the same kind of sensations, or the same kind of perceiving of energy, you know, anxiety and excitement. It's just that with the excitement, there's a positive thinking that we have, a positive narrative that we are saying to ourselves. And with fear, there's a negative saying that we are saying to ourselves. So we can control that. So with Uranus, what to do? First and foremost, Jupiter with Uranus. I kind of find it electric. You know, yesterday when I was thinking about doing this video, there was, you know, thunder and lightning and whatnot. That is Jupiter Uranus. Like it comes in and it kind of awakes everyone. That's the energy that what I'm talking about. And some people will say yes. And other people will say, ooh, what's going on here? You know, I feel like unsafe here. So what do we do? Especially when I'm going to do the 12 signs and you're hearing like, this is more challenging, to grounding yourself. So grounding yourself is crucial with important Uranus kind of energies. You know, think about electricity, right? So ground yourself, do some yoga, do make sure that you have good food, good night's sleep, all these kind of things that ground you, that bring you down to earth, is actually the best thing to do, to go through these energies and know that there's no growth with some pain involved, with some coming up of, you know, with this Chiron, Venus Chiron, coming up of these issues of existence. We have sometimes have to go through that pain and seeing it and acknowledging it, and then we can heal it. Anyway, let's get to the signs very quickly, you know, to know what's going on. Aries, this is happening for you in your second house. This Jupiter Uranus is happening there. And your second house is actually your belongings, your money, your worth. So it's for you, it's a rather positive energy for sure, because And it depends really on how good are you healing, how good are you loving yourself and making sure that you exist, right, with Venus and Chiron in your sign. So it's about relationships as well, about how you feel about yourself. But the self-worth, the income can increase. Your income, you can have a certain windfall, you can have a certain increase in maybe buying a car, buying something bigger than just like a makeup or something, right? So this Jupiter bumping into Uranus, this Jupiter rules your 9th and 12th house. So this is also a lot about how you think about money, how you want to attract it in your life. So if you've been doing big efforts and hustling for the money, this could be it. You know, financial growth and financial windfall and an upgrade when it comes to what you think of yourself. Taurus, this is of course you. This is what we call a conjunction happening in your first house, Jupiter Uranus. Now this can mean first and foremost, and then all the introduction is for you. So a tremendous growth. But Jupiter and Uranus is that electricity, so you might feel a little bit more nervous in a way and more unsettled. But that's because you're going through that growth and through that energy. And the Jupiter that's bumping into Uranus, the Jupiter rules your 8th house and 11th house. So it could have to do with your objectives and goals for the future and money that you share with another person or intimacy that you share with another person. There's something there that happens and boom, you kind of free yourself up. So it's really not typical Taurus energy here. It's actually the opposite. It's like, hey, because Taurus people, they're gentle people. They're normally, I mean, they're very calm people. But now it's like, hey, don't mess with me. I'm here, I'm growing, and I'm going for my independence. You take it or you leave it, right? And that ruler, Venus, is in your 12th house. So with Chiron, so there could come up some secrets that has to do with love, because Venus in the 12th house is a hidden house. So because of that, and because of standing up for yourself, you are really deciding to take your life into your hands. And actually, it's your whole life part. It's not just your relationship. It's your whole life. It's your work. It's your friends. It's everything. That it has this lightning that comes in, and you're seeing it. And that is so a conjunction is not always easy. So I think for most of the Taurians, typically the Taurians who've got planets around 20 degrees, they will feel it very strongly. It's not an easy aspect at all. I'm not going to lie, but it gives you in the long run a lot of, what I was saying in the first part, in purpose, confidence, and so on. Geminis, this is happening in the 12th house. So this is a bit for you happening behind the scenes. It's a rather nice energy for you. Why? Because Jupiter is in the 12th house and Uranus in the 12th house. It's a very unconscious house, and it could mean that things become very clear to you. And Jupiter rules your 7th house. So it could have to do with your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, that all of a sudden goes through a phase of, because Jupiter bumps into Uranus, which Jupiter, the ruler of the 7th, bumping into Uranus can mean in their life there's a big change. And that has a bit of a knock-on effect on you. But it's like your blind spots are becoming clear. Your unconscious life is becoming more and more conscious. And that can work as a teacher for you. It's also, I think, a gift because Taurus is very real. And the 12th house is like a bit of a connection between outer worlds. So you could feel that the universe is, or other, that the energy is really soothing and really giving you opportunity to understand who you are. So Very interesting energy indeed. And that Venus in Chiron is in your 11th house. So what's going on with friends there, and wishes and dreams for the future? There could be like a shift happening there. Cancerians, this is your 11th house. Now for you, Cancer and Taurus is a sextile, which is easy peasy, right? It's not the most challenging energy for you, but of course it depends. Maybe you have a moon in Leo or something, and it changes the whole thing, right? These are general horoscopes. But this Jupiter-Uranus in the 11th, it's like a lightning. That 11th house is really getting a lot of attention, which is a future house, which is a house of friends, which is a house of like-minded people, which is also a house of your goals for the future. So a lot of fresh energy to go for a new goal in your life. And of course, Venus is in your 10th with Chiron. So there could be some things coming up for you that that you have to go through some sort of pain, and that relates to your work. Maybe things that you can't do anymore, or maybe things that you do and that demands quite, going through some psychological pains by doing it. Whatever it is, there's a healing aspect to it. And there's an aspect to the future as well. So so a lot of Cancerians will think about changes for the future towards their purpose in life. That could be also in the friends, someone very, how would I say, helping you to see more in life, a broader perspective. That's the Jupiter-Uranus. For those of you who are single, you could meet, you could have that friend there that becomes a little bit more than just a friend, so a romance there happening. And that is really someone who is acting a bit more like purposeful in your life, a coach kind of way. If you have your own business, it's a money house as well. So if you have your own business, it could mean a growth. And a sudden growth here. All of a sudden, big growth happening for you because of these changes that you're doing in the work area. And because the 11th house is the second house of the 10th house. So if you work for yourself, this is very, very, very positive. Another thing, if you want to achieve something, let's say you want another job, you want another this or that connection, or you're single, for instance, and you want to meet someone, go and ask friends and go and ask your network, because your network can do some very, very positive things now. Leos, this is happening for you at the top of your chart. And it's a more challenging one because it squares up to your energy. It's in the 10th house of work, career, parents, all of that. So although, as I said in the beginning, that this is a square, it is a huge opportunity for a career growth and a career jump. And it's more in the area of Jupiter-Uranus in Taurus, right? Which could mean like innovation, teaching, learning, traveling, but also Taurus, beauty, money, food, clothes, fashion, all of that, art as well. So there could be new developments there. So don't resist it, is my advice. So go with that energy of Uranus, even though that you're not feeling so grounded. Do the things that do ground you, whether it is a call to a good friend or whether it is family, whatever it is, because this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Virgos, this is for you. Wow. This is in your 9th house. You have a beautiful trine here going on. So Jupiter-Uranus in the 9th is amazing. And especially if you've got Virgo planets around 20 degrees, this is an expansion for sure. Jupiter rules your 7th house as well. So for the Virgos who are single, this could mean meeting a very, very purposeful, important person. Lover could mean that as well, from abroad, right? The 9th house, or from a different culture, a different background, and definitely someone who also has the traits of Uranus, because it's Jupiter conjunct Uranus. So who's got those traits of being independent, being having their own way of doing things. For other Virgos, it's an expansion of knowledge. It is travel. It is writing, speaking, learning, teaching, all that juicy stuff. It is also finding more connection with the divine, with the universe, and all of that. So it's very, very positive. Venus is in your 8th house, though. So with Chiron, so there could be things coming up that has to do with intimacy, that there is a little bit painful energy there. But when you go through it and when you tackle your fears, it's like you feel reborn. Libras, this is happening in your 8th house, this energy. And that is a bit of a challenge. Why? Because, it's not. It depends on other things in your chart. But in itself, it's a windfall. It's only a challenge when you're not open for change. Then it's going to be a challenge. But I think for a lot of you, Jupiter, Uranus in the 8th, the 8th is the house of life and death. The 8th is the house of, so it could be like a sudden windfall when it comes to money from other people, a tax return, an inheritance that you're getting, maybe money that you loaned and now the debt is gone, right? Or a return on investment, all of these things, but also a growth in knowledge and a sudden insight of your own deep psychological stuff, your demons, right? Your shadow, that's the 8th house. So if you're open for that and aware of that, this is very, very a positive transit. But it's only when you're, resisting it that it could be a little bit more tough about, understanding your own darkness or your own shadow. This energy, this Jupiter, bumping into Uranus, rules your 3rd and 6th house. So it could also have to do with the way that you think and the way that and the work that you do, that there's an ending, right? Because the 8th house is also the house of endings. Venus and Chiron is in your 7th. So again, also relationships, right? There is some stuff going on for you that has to do with relationship that could be a little bit painful, but it's better to go through the pain and deal with it than avoiding it. Scorpios, wow. Especially if you've got planets around 20 degrees of Scorpio, you're going to feel this in your relationships. So Jupiter, Uranus in the 7th, it's all what kind of Scorpio are you? If you know, most Scorpios, they know when they have to change, but they don't like change because they are a fixed sign and you're having this in an opposition. So that could be a bit of a challenge, but if you're welcoming it, this could really be the person of, the love of your life entering your life with Jupiter, Uranus there in your 7th house. And it could, what is that kind of person? It's a person that is interested in spirituality, a person that is interested in growth, a person that is independent, that knows to do their own thing. But it's also very Taurus. There's something Taurian around them. They're handsome or beautiful, right? Scorpio risings, they always say they have the most beautiful partners because Taurus is their 7th house. Anyway, now it rules your 2nd house and your 5th house, this Jupiter, that's going to bump into Uranus. So this again, it's about love, it's about your heart chakra, and it's about your worth and your money as well. So this is really, really interesting. And on the 23rd, there's also the Scorpio full moon as well, of course. Is it? What am I saying now? The sun will be in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio. So yeah, it's quite a lot comes to the light for you when it comes to relationships. When you are already in one, it could mean that you together with that person do something that is unusual, do something that you've never done before, do something bold, do something. So you could be like, for instance, with Jupiter, Uranus there, it shows that you want some change, And it doesn't mean to say that if you're a relationship a long term that you're going to say thank you very much and I'm going to that other person. No, it means that doing together something brand new. It could mean like both of you are moving and to another country and starting a B&B. You know, it's doing something together that is bold, that is going to give you income, Taurus, and you know, that kind of thing. But definitely eye-opening for relationships. Sagittarians, this is happening in your 6th house, and you are super, super important here because your ruler is Jupiter. So you're going to bump into Uranus. And I think most of the Sagittarians that I've been speaking to, they feel it. They feel it, you know. And why is that? They feel nervous. They feel nervous. Why? Because you could say, oh, the 6th house, that's your day-to-day life, that's your work, that's your health, and so on. The nervousness comes because your Jupiter, your ruler, if you're having like a rising, Sagittarius rising, when you're doing the sun astrology, the sun in Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So that means that the ruler is approaching this Uranus. So it's like really you going in that electricity, so to speak. So that's what you're feeling. You're feeling that change is coming. And of course, it's a very, Sagittarius is a sign that is very, you could say, inspired. So they can feel that very much in some sort of a way as a vision, like, oh yeah, I feel that a lot of changes are coming up and I'm a bit restless here, but it's normal. So throughout the whole month of April, you could feel that change is coming. And the 6th house, again, you know, for some of you, it's going to be your job. All of a sudden, a new job that is more purposeful, more independent, that's going to give you that energy, but a bit unsettling because you don't know where you're heading. That kind of energy. For others, it could mean a breakthrough when you're dealing with some disease, for instance, could be a breakthrough there. A breakthrough in maybe a little bit more, Uranus is more alternative. So maybe, again, with diseases, I always say or illnesses, I always say the following: go for all the energy levels, you know, go on the physical level, work there with a doctor, work on the psychological level, work on the soul's level and whatnot. So there could be breakthroughs there for sure. And also your lifestyle. So it could mean that all of a sudden it's going to be so much more your lifestyle, a busyness, excitement because of work, because of things are developing there. And also, as the 6th house is the house of debt, D-E-B-T, it could mean that it's finishing up a debt. Could mean that as well. Capricorns, very good energy for you because it's a fellow Earth energy in your 5th house. Jupiter, Uranus there. So it's very fluent, that energy. If you're single, this could mean you're meeting someone. This could mean romance. And the person is going to be Jupiterian, Uranus-like. So maybe from abroad, maybe with a different background. You know, also, it could mean a very independent person, a person that is doing their stuff in their own way. And of course, Taurus, beautiful and handsome for sure. Now, on another level, it could simply mean that you're going to do something very exciting with a project, a business that you're going to start, a project that you're going to start. It could also mean in the life of a child, if you have children, that there is growth and all of a sudden they jump, like, you know, they do an upgrade. And that gives you a very purposeful feeling. And it's time to do maybe a new hobby or fun, having fun, basically, right? Absolutely. Maybe short trips, you know, Jupiter rules your 3rd house as well, doing some short trips and having fun with it. Aquarians, your 4th house. You're one of those signs, especially if you have it around 20 degrees, that you're going to feel a little bit more stress around it and a little bit more a challenge, particularly if you don't want to change. If you're an Aquarian, that is open for it. And it's, of course, Jupiter coming towards your more modern ruler in that fourth house, which is your core, which is really literally, for some of you, it's your home. But I think it's, for a lot of you, it's about your emotions. So there could be things there happening, Jupiter, Uranus in the fourth, that is a bit unsettling for you. Typically, with Uranus there, it's like renovations, but Jupiter means like it's going to give you, that house is going to give you so much more purpose, for instance, and so it's going to be bigger as well, Jupiter. Now, not all Aquarians are going to move, of course. So for some of you, it could mean that you're going to work from home and doing something Jupiter Uranian like, right? So doing something on your own, doing your own business, being independent, Uranus. And in the field of Taurus could be finances, beauty, fashion, what else? Food. What else is Taurus? All the five senses. Everything to beautify, and so on. So you could be really having there an insight. Also on an emotional level, it's like you feeling more free emotionally because what you've done in the past, and that is that opportunity. So it could also mean that you move abroad. So that, again, not everyone is going to move, but it can mean that as well. This Jupiter rules your 11th and 2nd house. So that 2nd house, a money house, the 11th house, a future house. So there could be some shifts happening there as well. Pisces, of course, it's important for you because your ancient ruler, so to speak, is Jupiter, and it's going to bump into Uranus. So it's a bit the same story as the Sagittarians, that during the month of April, you could feel a little bit more nervous, and you don't know why that is, but that's because that energy is reflected in your ruler, Jupiter, approaching, the planet of electricity, and you're really feeling it in your nervous system. You can really, really sense that you sense. And of course, you're a very intuitive sign already in itself. You're a lot about feeling. And so you could feel that a lot of change is about to come for you. And it's in your 3rd house. And that is the house of, it sextiles your energy, by the way. So it's not that challenging for you. But of course, your ruler with Uranus is a challenge because that can make you more ungrounded. So do a lot of grounding for the Pisceans. A lot of grounding. Make sure that you eat enough, sleep enough, do some yoga, some de-stressing, whatever you want to do. It's very important for you. With your ruler going really in a bit of a shake-up energy. But if you're open for it, the 3rd house is about short trips. So you could be doing a very exciting short trip, and or you could be doing something that is very exciting but very real, that has to do with learning, that has to do with teaching. Either you teach others or you're going to learn a skill, for instance. So with Jupiter, Uranus there, I remember when I had that, I studied astrology a lot, and really hands-on, really in a practical way. And because it's Taurus after all, it wants to be practical here. Now, on another level, if you have your own business, for instance, this is amazing to launch new websites, to launch all sorts of social media. It can mean a lot of growth and really like going viral, because it's your ruler with Uranus in the 3rd house. And also it could mean shifts that are happening in the area of life that has to do in your neighborhood, your siblings. There could be some openings and breakthroughs there as well, but they're all rather quite expansive and very positive too, that you see it happening for you. So what else is the 3rd house? I think I've covered that. Communication. It's a busy house, though. It's a busy house. So you could have a month that is a bit more busy than others. And it's a lot of people will see you a little bit more as a Uranus person, which is independent. So you could say that you're going a bit through a phase where you're going to say, hey, I'm done with that, right? I'm certainly, if there's an area of your life that you think is also your work, because Jupiter rules your 10th house as well. So you could be saying, no, I'm done with that. You know, I'm going to go for what I do want, right? And yeah, so what an interesting energy, Jupiter Uranus. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm wishing you all the best. Bye bye.